Hey you geeks! I made it through The Great Hunt twice now. I'm really trying to pace myself on these things, but Jordan is not making it easy. Before I remark on the story, I just want to say that the original cover for this book makes my list of most unfortunate book covers. The bloody diarrhea color scheme just doesn't do it for me. Yet the book is pretty great. Our boys grow further into men, and our ladies grow in power, if not wisdom. The pacing is tighter, and the scale has exploded. Where the Eye of the World hinted at other stories intertwining with our weave, The Great Hunt goes ahead and shows some to us, and it makes the story much better.
Much better.
Now for my spoilerific breakdown of characters, world-building, magic system, and plot. Rand. So this is the story about the farm boy ducking out the back door away from responsibility. Audible plays that interview with Robert Jordan at the end of each Wheel of Time book I've read. It finally happened. Rand tries to run away from his destiny and his new title. This book has an emphasis on titles, particularly the Royal Owl of Malkier, which has changed our young shepherd's name from Rand, that I like, to
Randall's your monster.
which I don't. No matter what you call him, Rand is still a shepherd, seeing the world and women for the first time. His reaction to Selene has my buddy reader suggesting that she should have been Beelzemon's opening salvo. This book does not understate the power of a woman's silky, smooth skin.
Let me make you smile.
But Rand, to his credit, finds ingenious ways out of her traps. First with the bow and the Grom, then with the sword he kills like 5 Trollocs, and the wolves are totally in awe of him.
What, like it's hard?
Then we finally get the promised fireworks from the second chapter of Eye of the World. I do love explosions. Even when Rand finally gives into the lure of Saidin, it's always for his friends, not for his lust. And it's his friends that pull him back from self-destruction.
I can respect that.
Mat blows the horn of Valir? Mat is a whiny, annoying hypocrite. After Rand dragged his sorry butt to Caemlyn, he ignores him for the first half of the book because Rand started wearing a fancy coat. Didn't the Lady Amelisa make Mat nice new clothes as well? Mat and Perrin spying on Rand was kinda cute. And Mat does have some nice sass in Kyrian.
I'm not an owl.
Mat's whole reaction to Rand will eventually go crazy is totally unfair after Mat went crazy last book. Maybe Mat's still crazy, as he is still connected to the dagger. He's wasting away by the end of the hunt.
Your friend here is only mostly dead.
Which is why it kinda makes sense that he's the one to blow the horn of Valir. He abhors glory and only cares about saving his skin. What's left of it. He does care about saving his friends' skins too, sorta. I hope he lives long enough to be rid of the dagger and be less of a jerk. Perrin still has the best magical power, and Lopin still thinks he is unnecessarily glum about it. It allows him to have more compassion for Rand while Mat is being whiny, and helps them hunt Trollocs. Why Perrin thinks being a wolf brother is going to turn him into anathema is beyond me. Egwene didn't reject him, Ingtar didn't reject him, and yet he's still sullen.
Not a dog, not a wolf. All he knows is what he is not.
Now is as good a time as ever to mention that I think it's funny and a little sad that each boy thinks the other is better at dealing with women than they are. In truth, they are all hopeless yet charming in their own way, assuming they're not crazy. Nynaeve. I did not know that Aegonor the Forsaken had made such an impression on Nynaeve for him to appear in her accepted test. She got knocked out pretty quickly in the book 1 finale. Maybe it's her fear of leaving a foe unvanquished? Her other trials of leaving Emond's Field and leaving Lan made more sense. Those two certainly are in love, but I have no idea why, besides them constantly bickering.
It's true love!
Whoa!
After becoming an accepted, she kinda plateaus. Sure, she goes to Tomon Head and even magics off one of those collars, but these aren't hard choices for her. Egwene. Egwene, Min, and Elayne all get along together surprisingly well, considering that they are all attracted to Rand. Usually girls aren't so chill about things like that.
What the hell is your problem?
I am dating John Tucker.
But the wheel weaves as the wheel wills, and Min is pretty clear that she's only here because of fate, while Elayne is like, there's nothing odd at all about meeting a man once for 20 minutes and falling deeply in love with him. It would make more sense if she could at least pretend to go to Falma for Egwene's sake, with Rand as a bothersome afterthought. Egwene is much better off going for one of the princes. She's only slightly less reckless, if not more, than the boys. Yet she is the only one to get captured. She must be in distress because while she's getting over Rand, Rand is still into her, endearing as he ignores much more well-endowed women not to disgrace Egwene. Verin. I really want to like Verin. She's got that endearingly awkward bookworm thing going for her.
Quick, find me that old copy of Predictions and Prophecies.
And she also helps Rand with his channeling. But the thing about bookworms who are smart enough to eavesdrop as they read, trust me, I would know, is that they can be very crafty. Verin does not seem to have Liandrin's habit for wordplay. She says things fairly straight out, like saying straight out that Moiraine sent her to help, while Moiraine said she did not. Is it a difference of perspective, or is someone lying? Moiraine. It's funny, when I reread and knew enough to suspect Ingtar of being a dark friend, I also had enough to suspect Moiraine. Where did she go between books? First time through going on default, Moiraine is not Black Aja. Liandrin's actions are obvious. Second time through, Liandrin seems a lot more reasonable if you suspect Moiraine.
Am I seeing things? Am I crazy? Is there a phantom right or is there not? But oh no, I refuse to be sucked into his little game.
However, I read New Spring and know that Moiraine is not Black Aja. Though the Servants of the Dark have no love for each other, it does not fit in her character. This book does recount the highlights of New Spring with some different details. And frankly, that's all you need to know. Kyrian. You just lost the game. I'm so mature, but this game of houses where even thinking about it makes you play, and frankly, there is no way to win the game of houses, so there is only one real-world game I can compare it to. The game. And you just lost. Again. If Andor is England, then Kyrian is France, with all its liaisons dangereuses. Honestly, it's kind of clever. Instead of writing Rand as a master of intrigue, which would be unbelievable, making everyone else so intriguous, that's a word now, that all he has to do is go out twice, give a wink, and talk to a gleeman for everyone to think he was
up to something.
And he sort of was. Selene was probably pulling strings as well, which didn't help. It also explains why Moiraine is so unhelpful. Compared to her countrymen, she's basically as pleasant as a fairy godmother. Seanchan. The Baal Domin, Bornhout, and even Padan Fain arcs all did an excellent job of introducing the Seanchan before the final battle. The Seanchan are certainly intimidating, bent on world domination, but they are beneficent evil overlords. People who chain women and murder families don't quite make the good category, but Lord Turok was immune to Fain's powers of persuasion, so he's got that going for him. Pity Rand had to cut him down. I want to see more of them, not because I like them per se, but because it would be an utter waste of a plot thread to have them show up for only one book. Aes Sedai. The Armorland seat has arrived, and it's Swan. She rose quickly in 20 years. Her ability to see ta'veren is new. Nynaeve and Egwene learning properly how to channel saidar makes a good comparison to Rand being persuaded to channel saidin. At this point, I don't see how they're so different. Rand has his void, and Egwene has her flower. Nynaeve is the odd one with her reliance on anger. Then we finally see Tar Valon.
Camelot. It's only a model. Shh.
Yes, I know it's based more on Avalon, but there aren't any good quips about that. Besides, the tower, for all its being a symbol of Aes Sedai power, is the least helpful place for our girls to learn magic. They learn more magic on the road to Tar Valon and at Falma than at the tower. At the tower, they learn the fine art of doing chores.
It's just that I've got 6 demerits. All this work to do.
What a mess.
It makes sense that self-control is an important part of magic learning, as the power gives the channeler quite the rush. But the tower seems to focus more on control and less on the magic. They would rather have poor Logain under control than explore new solutions to his potential madness. The Portal Stones. I didn't say anything about the ways during the Eye of the World because they seem to be nothing more than Moria on steroids. It's a conveniently inconvenient journey through the dark, though how Baalzamon got a dream version to terrorize the boys, I have no idea. Now we have teleporters that go to an infinite number of alternate realities. The concept of an infinite number of alternate realities is completely realistic, and magic's ability to reach them is a logical step. I just hope that each new book doesn't introduce a new magical realm. I mean, I can keep track of an awful lot, but that seems like a bit much. Flicker, flicker, flicker. Plot. The prologue makes a lot more sense the second time around. Baalzamon didn't actually die last book.
I'm shocked.
So he conveniently, for the reader, gathered all this book's dark friends to tell them about the plot. Ingtar is there, the Seichan lady, and of course the man who calls himself Bors. The Knights of the Round Table have been thoroughly recycled. The pace is a bit quicker than the Eye of the World, while still giving those character interactions that make me happy. Then the hunt is afoot, always keeping the sense of danger, if not imminent, at least real.
Faith in Begara, 'tis him Redcourse again.
Splitting up our country bumpkins gives a real sense of scope. Then bringing them all together makes the climax extra exciting. I get that Baalzamon wanted Egwene and Nynaeve there first to draw Rand, and second to send them across the sea. And I further understand that Baalzamon wanted Rand there to try and turn him to the dark side. But I don't know why Baalzamon thought Rand would turn to the dark side. If he wouldn't be persuaded by Celine's silky smooth skin, then how is a promised cure for insanity more enticing? It's not exactly...
I am your father.
And Rand has enough daddy issues in this book that would be quite a paradigm shift. Jordan also spends considerable time making it sound like Loial will die. We get to know him, see his people, and the prophecy that 5 will ride out, but 4 will return. And then the 4 is Rand, Mat, Perrin, Hurin, and Ingtar, who infiltrate Falma. At which point, Ingtar's over-the-top obsession with the horn gets incredibly suspicious. I'm not sure which is more surprising, that he was a dark friend, or that he did very little as a dark friend. All he did was let the assassin who took a shot at Rand into the keep. If that's all, then who let the Trollocs in? Most surprising of all is that Rand becomes a blade master by sweeping Turok's leg. With River undercuts the bank. Both Soren and Shad agree on this.
Sweep the leg is not a thing in sword fighting.
Though maybe he sliced through the stomach because Turok died fairly instantly. After all his practice, Rand is now a blade master. Yay! Meanwhile, Bornhold and the whole White Cloaks actually do something pretty cool.
"Forward the Light Brigade! Charge for the guns," he said. Into the Valley of Death rode the 600.
I was actually starting to like him, and now he's dead. The boys and the dead heroes charge too, and Rand comes toe-to-toe with Baalzamon again. Without the Spirit Oasis backing him, Rand has to rely on his much improved skill with the sword. And oh my gosh, did he just win with crane technique? Well, that changes everything. Rewind. Or should I say, flicker. Most surprising of all is that Rand becomes a blade master by sweeping the leg.
Sweep the leg.
Fighting dirty. Tisk tisk. Flicker. Not sure how I feel about Rand getting a stigmata by fire, but there's 12 more books to go, so this is probably a mark of future suffering. I'm down for that. After all that buildup, Rand is offered the title of the Dragon Reborn, and the story ends.
That can't be it. Where's the rest of it?
Would it really have killed his friends to stick around until he woke up? Gosh, now I've got a whole nother book to read, and I can't wait. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Your patronage is greatly appreciated.